I knew Dick Lester some years before. In fact, when I first started in the business, Dick was just come over from Canada and he was directing commercials for the company that I was working for. And we developed a rapport together because we were both emphatic about French movies. So I was working on Dr. Strangelove with Stanley Kubrick, actually as a first assistant. And then I heard about Dick making the film. And I thought, I'd very much like to work on that. I wonder how I can. So I rang Dick up and asked him, and he said there is an editor on it, and he does have a first assistant with him. So I said, I don't care, Dick. I said, I'll drop my salary. I'll come as a second assistant. I said, can you do anything for me? So he said, OK, I'll do my best and I'll try. So when Pam and I got together, and with John, we had this wonderful rapport together, and it was one family, because in editing you're working very closely together in one room or two rooms.
Well, without a doubt it is, but John had, I mean, he was a very good editor. He could see something in the theatre, watch the rushes, and already he had it cut in his mind. He could make something of almost nothing, you know. He could get something to work, although he'd have to go in a roundabout sort of way, but he was very, very clever doing that sort of thing.
I would put John as one of the top 3 editors in the whole world, and he's actually my favourite of all editors, because John has this incredible creative ability to take the sequence into another dimension, which for this particular film, A Hard Day's Night, worked wonderful because the film was breaking new ground, and Dick Lester was breaking new ground, but it was the combination of what Dick had shot and certainly how John edited it all together that made it something spontaneous and most unusual.
Well, in its own way, it was all tough because of the amount of material to select. And one had to go through all the material anyway 2 or 3 times to decide. Well, Johnny did. It was all laid up for him in a sequence, which is what I used to do. In the script told me how many shots we've got, you know, sort of covered by 4 or 5 cameras or whatever, and so we knew what material it had. But then John would run through the whole lot, and then in his mind he would, I suppose it's a bit like composing or writing a book or something. He then decided which order he was going to cut in and you know, put it all together.
Yeah, there's one particular scene that stands out in my mind, which was again the genius of John Jimson, was the sequence on the train where John starts to play with the cards and he overlaps the sound before the actual singing starts. It was the first time that I'd ever seen that on film, of preempting the song. And this, for some reason, I think also in the audience's mind, got you whacked right into the song, and suddenly you felt you were into something also very new again. And that was one of, as far as I remember, it was one of the earliest things that John edited, and I was watching him actually doing this on the Moviola, and seeing him stop and think, which he always did when he cut. He wouldn't do anything immediately like that, but when he did do it, that was it. And I think Pam might agree. I don't remember any alterations to that scene or to many scenes afterwards of the actual editing. The construction was John, and that was it. They may have taken out a scene or shortened it by a certain amount.
That's true. Well, I can't say that I can pick out one particular scene, but I do remember the theatre, the scene in the theatre, only because there was so much material. And how the hell you put together a scene like that to, you know, to make it all flow and gel. And I found that magic, because I couldn't imagine how he was going to do it. Film isn't made by one person or who you see on the screen. It's made by hundreds of people, and you know, unless they all put their 101% in, it doesn't work. But it did with this one, didn't it?
Well, it's a team, isn't it? It's teamwork.